Okay, so you're a sales leader, right? And you're always kind of looking for ways to just get a little bit more out of your team,
I
out
never.
of you know, the time that everybody spends.
Yeah.
You hear about all these meetings that people are in all the time,
Yeah.
and you wonder sometimes, like,
Yeah.
are these meetings really valuable?
Absolutely.
Are we getting the most that we can out of these meetings, or are we just kind of going through the motions, spinning our
Just twirl.
wheels. Yeah, and
Yeah.
just sort of like the day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to do today is look at a really interesting topic that I think can help unlock
Yeah.
a lot of potential for
That's just
sales teams in particular.
hmm
And it's called meeting analytics.
meeting analytics.
And I'm Ron,
I'm Nova.
and we're going to dig into
Yeah.
what meeting analytics is all about.
Excited to be here.
So, Nova, let's start with the basics. What exactly is meeting analytics?
When we talk about sales and revenue, I think what's really important is optimizing your team's performance, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's got to be top of mind.
Yeah.
And so we dug into this whole world of meeting analytics to bring you like the real nitty-gritty of what it is
Mm-hmm.
and how it can be helpful.
Yeah.
So when we say meeting analytics, we're talking about using like AI and natural language processing and all this smart technology
Okay.
to really look at the data from your
I
meetings
just,
and be able to tell you what's going on. Because think about it, every sales call, every team huddle, every meeting you have
right.
generates so much information,
Yeah.
right? From who's speaking the most to, what are those like golden nuggets of topics that are coming up?
Yeah.
And meeting analytics tools can actually capture all this stuff,
Hmm.
analyze it,
Huh?
and then give you like really awesome insights to improve how you operate.
Okay.
So for sales and revenue leaders, it means you can really understand your team's interactions.
Hmm.
You can identify what's working,
Okay.
you can identify what's not working,
Yeah, okay.
and then ultimately drive better outcomes for your team.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's about moving beyond sort of
It's about moving beyond gut feeling.
like the gut feeling.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
like, let's look at the data and actually
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
make decisions based on that.
I like that. Okay, so you mentioned like capturing information and stuff. I'm thinking like, okay, attendance reports.
Oh, it's so much more than that.
Okay, so beyond attendance reports.
Way beyond attendance report.
Like, what kind of insights are we actually talking about here?
Okay, so think of it this way. We're looking at several key areas. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is data collection. And that's that basic stuff, like how many people were in the meeting,
Right.
what kind of call was it?
Yeah.
But then it gets really juicy.
Okay.
We go into speaking patterns.
Okay.
So who's actually talking? How often are they talking? How long are they talking for? This is a big one for sales because you can actually see if your sales reps are like dominating the conversation
Oh, yeah.
instead of listening to the prospects.
That's a good point. I've definitely been in those sales calls before
Oh, yeah.
where you just feel like the salesperson just doesn't stop talking.
Right? Exactly. And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to buy anything from this person.
Yeah.
Okay, so content evaluation.
Okay.
This is where we can identify like recurring themes.
Mm-hmm.
So what are those common customer objections that keep popping up?
Right.
Are there any competitor mentions that we need to be aware of?
Yeah.
And then we move into participant engagement tracking.
Okay.
So are people asking questions in the meetings?
Right.
What's the overall sentiment?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are people excited? Are they bored?
Oh, interesting.
Are they frustrated?
Yeah.
And then finally, and this is a huge one for sales,
Yeah.
action item monitoring.
Okay.
So were next steps actually defined?
Right.
Who's responsible for those next steps?
Yeah.
And then the big one, are they actually being followed up on?
Okay. So those are some really powerful insights.
They're pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I think our listeners who are mostly sales and revenue leaders, I think they're probably thinking like, okay,
How does this help me?
how does this actually benefit
Right.
my sales team?
Okay, so the impact of using meeting analytics for sales is huge.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So for managers, it's like a productivity multiplier.
Okay.
Imagine being able to instantly see if certain types of meetings are consistently unproductive,
Right.
or if your team is missing key discussion points in their calls,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can actually use meeting analytics to streamline discussions
Okay.
by finding and like calling out those redundancies.
Yeah.
So, you can make sure that everyone's focused on the things that actually move deals forward.
Right.
Another thing it helps you do is establish quality benchmarks for your meetings.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to see if your team's calls have a good balance of speaking time between the rep and the prospect,
Right.
which we know is an indicator of effective engagement.
Absolutely.
You can actually measure that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meeting analytics can also help ensure adherence to your sales methodologies.
Okay.
Are your reps consistently asking those qualifying questions?
Okay.
Are they following the defined steps of your sales process?
Interesting.
You can actually see that in the data.
So it's not just like hoping
It's not just hoping,
that they're doing
fingers crossed.
crossing your fingers. Yeah.
Right, you can actually see it.
Okay.
And ultimately, meeting analytics helps create a culture of continuous improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based on real data, not just assumptions.
Not just a feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that. So, okay, we've got this idea of like, what it is, what it can do.
The what?
Yeah. Now let's get into some of the actual,
D'accord.
yeah, the metrics that sales leaders should be tracking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Okay, so the first thing, attendance and time.
Okay.
Participant count makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You want to see who's involved in different meeting types.
Right.
Okay. Attendance rate.
Yeah.
If it's consistently low for a certain type of meeting,
Yeah.
it might mean you need to communicate better
Mm-hmm.
about the value of that meeting or maybe revamp it,
Yeah.
right? Drop-off rate. So if people are leaving a call early,
Oh, yeah.
that's a big red flag.
Yeah. That's not good.
It could be engagement issues with the content or the presenter.
Yeah. Or
Right.
the host or whoever's.
Maybe they're just boring.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And then meeting length. This is a big one.
Yes.
Are your sales demos consistently running over?
Right.
Is there a certain type of meeting that is
Like-
always taking way longer than it should?
Like, why?
Yeah.
What's happening in there?
Yeah. So attendance and time.
Attendance and time. Got
Got
it.
it what?
Okay, now let's talk about engagement.
Okay.
So speaking ratios,
Mhm.
this is like crucial for sales.
Mm.
You want to see that healthy balance
Yeah.
between the rep and the prospect,
Yeah.
right? If it's skewed one way or the other,
Yeah.
it might mean you need to coach your rep on active listening or maybe even on leading the conversation more effectively.
Okay.
Interruption count. This is an interesting one
Oh, yeah.
because a little bit of interruption is good, right? It shows people are like engaged and
Yeah, they're paying
they're
attention.
present.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing a ton of interruptions,
Yeah.
it could be a sign of like, conflict
Mhm.
or that the flow of the conversation is just all over the place.
That makes sense.
Right.
So we've got attendance time. We've got engagement. What about the content?
Content. Yeah. Content metrics.
Yeah.
This is where you can really refine your sales strategy.
Okay.
So keyword trends can reveal those customer pain points,
Right.
those objections
Yeah.
the competitor mentions.
Yeah.
And then you can use that information to adapt your messaging and even provide better training to your team.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah. So it's like you're learning from every single conversation.
And I guess the idea there too is if you start to see like a pattern of, the same keywords popping up over and over again, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe we're not addressing that
Exactly.
clearly enough.
Or maybe there's a new competitor
Yeah.
that we weren't even aware of.
That we need to, educate our sales team about.
Totally. That's a
out.
great point.
Sentiment trends. So this is where you can track the emotional tone of those conversations.
Okay.
Are people generally positive and negative neutral?
Right.
And so if you're noticing a lot of negative sentiment on certain types of calls,
Yeah.
it might indicate an issue with your product, your pricing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even the sales approach itself.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's really valuable
Yeah.
in terms of understanding where you might need to make adjustments.
Okay, cool. So we've got content, we've got engagement, we've
Yeah.
got attendance and time.
Yes.
Now, what about next steps?
Action items.
Yeah.
This is all about making sure those meetings actually lead to something.
Right. So action item count itself is a measure of productivity,
Yeah.
right? How many action items are actually being generated from these meetings?
Oh, good.
Owner distribution, this helps you understand who's responsible for what,
Mm-hmm.
and it ensures that, the workload is balanced across your team.
Yeah, no one person's getting dumped on.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So we've got all these metrics. We know kind of what to track.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about how to actually do it.
The tools.
Yeah, like what are the tools?
Okay, so there's like a range.
Right,
There's
yeah.
a spectrum.
Yeah.
You have your basic stuff that you probably already have access to
Right.
through your communication platforms.
Right.
So things like Zoom, Google, Meet, Microsoft Teams,
Right.
they all offer like basic attendance reports.
Yeah.
So that's a good starting point.
That's like step one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you really want to unlock the power of meeting analytics, You got to go for those dedicated tools.
Okay, so give me some examples of some of these dedicated.
Okay, so one that comes to mind that's really cool is Meet Record.
Okay.
So Meet Record is AI powered,
Okay.
and it's designed specifically for sales teams.
Okay.
What's cool about it is it offers conversation analytics,
Okay.
real-time transcription, so you can see what's being said as it's happening.
Oh, that's cool.
AI-driven call scoring, so you can actually evaluate the quality of the call.
Interesting.
Automated follow-up suggestions, and even coaching tools.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this all-in-one platform
Yeah,
to help you optimize the entire sales meeting lifecycle.
that sounds great. What are some other options out there?
Okay, so Gong is a big one.
Okay.
They're like the leader in revenue intelligence.
Okay.
And they analyze sales calls and meetings to give you insights into customer interactions, how deals are progressing,
Right.
overall pipeline health.
Hmm.
And they also offer sales coaching tools, which is awesome.
Wow.
So Gong is really comprehensive,
Yeah.
and they have a ton of integrations, so it can really fit into your existing workflow.
Great. Another one you mentioned was Chorus. Yeah.
Chorus
From ZoomInfo.
from ZoomInfo.
Yeah.
So this is a really good option if you're already using Zoom a lot
Okay.
because it integrates seamlessly with Zoom,
Makes sense.
and it offers AI-powered conversation intelligence.
Okay.
So you get things like sentiment analysis,
Mm-hmm.
coaching insights, and the cool thing about Chorus is that it leverages all that data from ZoomInfo,
Okay.
which is a huge database of company and contact information.
Okay, great.
So you can get even more insights into your prospects.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we've got Meet Record, Gone, Chorus. Any other?
Okay, two more that are worth mentioning.
Okay.
Avoma.
Okay.
So Avoma is an AI meeting platform
Mm-hmm.
that's really focused on making meetings more efficient.
Okay.
So they have automated note-taking coaching features,
Mhm.
revenue intelligence, and it tracks really interesting metrics like speaker ratios,
Yeah.
filler words,
Great.
and it even provides AI summaries of your meetings.
Well, that's nice.
So Avoma is known for being super user-friendly. So it's a great option if you're looking for something that's easy to use.
Okay, cool. And then the last one you mentioned was Fireflies.
Fireflies.ai.
Fireflies.ai.
So Fireflies is like a virtual meeting assistant.
Okay.
It records, transcribes, summarizes meetings for you.
Mm-hmm.
It highlights key points and action items,
Yeah.
so you don't have to go back and listen to the whole thing.
Oh, that's helpful.
It also offers speaker insights, sentiment analysis,
Right.
and you can actually customize it to
Yeah.
track specific topics that are important to you.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So Fireflies integrates with a ton of different platforms.
Great.
So it's pretty versatile.
Okay, cool. So we've got all these tools, but now I'm thinking, okay, I'm a sales leader. I'm hearing all this stuff about meeting analytics. I want to implement it,
Yeah.
but where do I start?
Okay, so it can feel overwhelming, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I like to think of it as a three-step framework.
Okay.
Okay. So step one is find the right tool.
Okay.
And there's so many out there, but it really depends on your specific needs,
Okay.
your budget,
Right.
what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So you want to look for solutions that offer all those key analytics we talked about,
Right.
the things that matter most to you,
Yeah.
and make sure it integrates with your CRM and any other sales tech you're using.
Okay.
And this is a big one, ease of use.
Yeah.
If your team doesn't find the tool intuitive, they aren't going to use it.
Absolutely. You can have the best tool in the world, but if no one's using it, it's not gonna,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
So that's step one.
Okay, step one, find the right tool.
Find the right tool check.
What about step two?
Okay, step two, this is where the magic happens.
Okay.
Ensure consistent use.
Okay.
Because this is how you actually unlock the value of meeting analytics.
Got it.
So you want to embed the review of meeting analytics into your regular team routines.
Okay.
So let's say you have weekly sales meetings.
Right.
Dedicate like 15 minutes to discuss key trends that are coming up in the data. Maybe even review a specific call recording together as a team.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Make it a habit to track those key metrics,
Yeah.
like engagement scores, follow-up completion rates.
Yeah.
Because consistency is what drives adoption.
Right.
And it's what helps you reveal those meaningful patterns over time.
That makes sense. So find the right tool, use it consistently. What's step three?
Okay, step three, create a feedback loop for coaching and improvement.
Okay.
This is where you can use the data to actually get better.
Okay.
So let's say you're noticing a rep is consistently struggling with objection handling.
Right.
You can actually see that in the keyword analysis.
Yeah.
And then you can focus your coaching sessions on that specific area.
Oh, that's great.
Encourage your reps to review their own calls.
Mm-hmm.
Identify areas for self-improvement. You can even create libraries of like exemplary calls
I
to
see.
showcase best
So
practices.
people can actually see, like,
Exactly.
here's how to do it well.
Here's what good looks like.
Yeah, I like that.
You want to foster a culture where data informs continuous learning and development.
I love it. Okay, so, I'm always a fan of, like, hearing
Real-world examples.
real-world examples,
Yeah,
right?
let's do it.
So tell me about a company that has used meeting analytics successfully.
Okay, so one that comes to mind is CoverFlex.
Okay.
They're a compensation management company.
Yeah.
They have a sales team of over 15 people,
Mm-hmm.
and they were facing challenges with like tracking their client calls,
All right.
sharing learnings, and providing feedback to their reps.
Right.
So they implemented Meet Record,
Okay.
and they were able to like easily review calls, share best practices,
Mm-hmm.
leverage that AI-powered call scoring.
Yeah.
And the result was their reps were getting faster feedback.
Oh, wow.
They had smoother team handovers,
Mm-hmm.
better communication, and ultimately they saw an increase in efficiency and engagement across their whole sales team.
That's great.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, so meeting analytics helped them.
It helped them a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, another example is Keysi.
Okay.
They're an access management solution, and their main focus was improving objection handling.
Okay.
They adopted Meet Record's AI coaching
No.
features
Mm-hmm.
to identify their top objections and then provide like really targeted coaching to their sales execs.
Okay.
So because they were able to use data to inform their coaching,
Right.
they saw a significant improvement in their objection handling effectiveness.
Wow.
And they actually doubled their deal closure rates.
Oh, wow.
Pretty impressive.
That's huge. So basically what we're saying is,
Yeah.
if you implement this stuff, right?
You can get some pretty awesome results.
Yeah, awesome results.
Oh.
Okay, cool. So Nova, let's kind of bring it all home.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways that our listeners who are mostly sales and revenue leaders, what should they be taking away from all of this?
So the bottom line is meeting analytics. It gives you this like powerful lens into your sales conversations,
Okay.
right? You're getting data-driven insights that can lead to more effective coaching. You can improve your team's efficiency,
Yeah.
and ultimately you're going to increase revenue.
Yeah.
So the key steps are select the right tool for your needs
Right.
and then use it consistently.
Yeah.
Integrate it into your workflow so you can create that culture of continuous improvement.
Yeah. I love that. So for all you sales and revenue leaders out there, think about this.
Think about it.
What if you could understand like every single little nuance or every single interaction
Yeah.
that your team has?
Yeah.
Like what would that unlock for you?
Right.
What opportunities, what roadblocks could you identify?
And how could that knowledge transform your team's performance and ultimately your bottom line?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we're all here for, right?
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Make that money.
Yeah. So we encourage you to explore those meeting analytics tools that we talked about
Yes.
and think about how they can help you get to that next level.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
It was fun.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time.